The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Las Vegas Raiders. Will this be the year that the Las Vegas Raiders can turn things around? Can they get it done? Can John Gruden keep his name out of these hot seat conversations that everybody likes to have? Because I think he's there. I think he is to the point with this team that if he doesn't have a really good year that shows promise, they're going to start beating that drum.
I don't.
Of it's time to cash out on this 10-year deal that we gave him.
I don't see it at all. And this is the team that we probably disagree on, the Las Vegas Raiders, more than we disagree on any team in the NFL.
There's no doubt about it. Best case scenario for the Las Vegas Raiders this year?
Young guys graduate to the adult table. You have a lot of damn young guys on this team.
Yes.
I mean, literally, I want you to name it. Who is the, if you take away Richie Incognito,
yeah,
who is the oldest starter on this team?
Oh, God.
Either side of the ball.
Carr?
Jonathan Hankins. Him and Carr are right along the same age. Mm-hmm. But I saw this stat, and you'd have to fact check me on that because that's a stat I stole from somebody else.
Let's see.
I mean, it's unbelievable how young this team is. And just think about how many young pieces you have. The Damon Arnett's, mm-hmm. the Trayvon Mullins, mm-hmm. Jonathan Abram. Trayvon Morrig was one of my favorite picks in this draft class.
Carr's 30.
Carr's 30.
Hankins is 29.
Okay. So it must have been other than Carr and Richie Incognito.
There you go.
And they just left part of that out. Twitter's fun for that. Mm-hmm. People see 160 characters and they go, how can I make this fit? Oh, I can just make it fucking false. Let's just take some more. We'll take some letters out and just make it not true.
Yeah.
Hot. But then you look at, the bringing in Ngakoue. I still love Corey Littleton. I really like this team. Mm-hmm. You don't.
I do like the team, but I like the pieces, and I haven't seen them come together. And I am concerned about the offensive line. I am concerned that they had a decent offensive line last year, so they go out. Well, here's the thing. You had, who was it, Rodney Hudson.
Who was bad.
You had Trent Brown.
Who was also bad.
They weren't bad.
They were bad. They were bad. Raiders fans are in the comments. Please tell him. I'm looking at the Pro Football Focus grades.
Yeah.
This line was not good. That's a myth. It's a myth because people know the names. It's what drives me crazy about offensive line play. And this is kind of what, and I'm not going to lie, early in the offseason, I did say some things about, I don't understand how you're going to replace as many guys. Mm-hmm. You replaced one whole side of your offensive line. Mm-hmm. Now, here's what I learned over the course of time.
Gabe Jackson was the other one.
Gabe Jackson. Gabe Jackson.
He was the best one they had.
Yeah, I would agree. Colton Miller is the best offensive lineman on this team. Mm-hmm. But Richie Incognito is a veteran guy. Mm-hmm. You got to keep him from falling off the rails because he does from time to time.
Right.
They really like Andre James. Mm-hmm. They really like Denzel Good. Mm-hmm. And they had Alex Leatherwood rated as the number one right tackle in this class. Mm-hmm. I'm not scared of that. I'm not. Mike Mayock's been a pretty good damn drafter. Has he overdrafted guys? Yes. Doesn't mean they haven't been good. That's where I think a lot of people fall into this trap with what we do is, you took a guy around too early. Who gives a fuck? Mm-hmm. Who cares? 40% of this draft class will never play a down ever. So, and if they do, it'll be, the old stat is that 40% of every draft class will play less than 150 snaps in their lives. So who cares? All right, you took Alex Leatherwood. They got all the shit in the world for that. Guess what? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't have been there when he came back to pick. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't have. I can tell you 2 teams that I have talked to people in the front office that said we would have taken him. I killed that pick live. By literally 24 hours later, I went, well, I was wrong. I was wrong. Mm-hmm. Because 2 teams said we would have taken him in the first round. Mm-hmm. So that tells you there's at least 3 teams that believed in him. I think it's overblown. And I don't think people give Derek Carr enough respect.
Nope.
This is, like Kelvin Jordan just said in the comments, this is an offense that scores points. The thing that would make me nervous, and like I said, I'm higher than anybody that has ever that's ever worked on this show. Four of the five starting linemen going into this year started games last year. Mm-hmm. I'm good with all of those things. There's one thing that makes me nervous.
What's that?
And it's the worst case scenario for the Las Vegas Raiders. Mm-hmm. And it's that you're bringing a knife to a gunfight. I don't believe that to be the case. But there's a lot of belief that Henry Ruggs is going to get better, that Brian Edwards is going to be the guy we talked about in minicamp last year, that John Brown can be a good veteran presence, Hunter Renfrow can continue to be the slot guy, and Darren Waller's still an all-world tight end. What if two of those five things don't happen? Say Henry Ruggs doesn't develop, and he's the same bad route runner that I saw at Alabama. He's still a home run threat, but he can't be the Tyreek Hill because he can't get open. Yeah, he's super fast, but that's it. What if Brian Edwards is just a dude? Mm-hmm. What if he's just a dude? Now you got a problem, and the problem is that you're in a division with the best offense in the NFL, one of the best young offenses in the NFL, and a team in Denver that if you have a point guy that just doesn't turn the ball over, they have so many weapons that if you're not as good as you were last year or better, you could be the worst offense in this division. Again, I don't think that's going to happen, but that would be the worst case scenario for the Raiders. That's what leads to what you think is their high side. You think best case scenario, they win how many games?
Best case scenario, this team can win 10 games.
That is a number higher than what I thought you were going to say.
Look, it's not that I'll say it again. I like the pieces. I just haven't seen it come together. They've constantly been mediocre. And
see, this is where you and I are different. I project more than you do. Mm-hmm. A lot of mine is seeing what's going to happen, and it's being a gambler because you have to do that because I have to be a step ahead of Vegas.
Right.
He doesn't do that.
No.
So for you, it's a lot of what have I seen?
I want to see proof that this team can come together. Do I believe in Henry Ruggs? Absolutely. Do I believe in Josh Jacobs? Yes, absolutely. Derek Carr? He's not my favorite, but he's also not the last quarterback that I would take in this league.
He's in the top half of the league, and if you argue with me, you're wrong. It's a period.
Yeah,
there is no debating that. I have stats from here to the door that would back me up.
16 to 14. I put him in that window in the NFL.
I think you're a little low. I have him in that. I probably have him on the high side. He's right on the backside of the top 10, so I'd say 11 to 13.
Okay.
But I also like him better than the Kirk Cousins of the world and Matt Ryan and a bunch of other guys that people. Right. I like Derek Carr better. I think he has never been given legitimate weapons, and people bash him for that. And then you look at the stats and go, this is the Kirk Cousins debate all over again. This is a guy that has never had high-end weapons. The best receiver on the team was Nelson Aguilar for a period of time. The leading receiver on the team was a guy that I forgot played for the team in a year. It was Andre Holmes. He was the leading receiver on the team. I've always said, conversely, if you gave Derek Carr or Kirk Cousins weapons, he would be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And I don't think it's even debatable. Now, there's an argument that you could have that.
You could. There's an argument. Got a lot of question marks.
Rob Johnson said Aguilar only played for a year. What I'm saying is that there was a period of time in Carr's career where Aguilar was the best receiver on the team. Right. I'm not saying it was a long period of time. What I'm saying is that you go down the list and there's a lot of Jordy Nelson leading this team in receiving, Andre Holmes, Nelson Aguilar. You know what all those guys have in common? I didn't believe in them at all. I believed in birds more than I believed in any receiver I just said. He never had the weapons. Now I look at the weapons and go, I love John Brown. I liked Brian Edwards coming out of South Carolina. I think Henry Ruggs has the ability to be a deep threat. And if it's, if all the things work out, you got Darren Waller, who's one of the biggest matchup nightmares in the NFL. Mm-hmm. I look at this team and go, if the defense gels together and the young guys develop, and like I said on the best case scenario, if the young kids graduate to the adult table, this is a playoff team.
Yep.
Flat out, it's a playoff team. And if you told me, and look, they're two of our Two of our biggest fan bases are the Chargers and the Raiders. It's not an accident that they're two teams that I have literally been behind the pulpit preaching how much better I think they are than other people.
Yeah.
I've convinced him on the Chargers. I have not convinced him yet on the Raiders.
No.
And look, I understand your theory of there's only so many wins in a division. What I don't think you're putting enough credence into, that's only 6 games of a 17-game schedule now. There is a possibility that every team in this division is 8 wins or better. Now, I don't think the Broncos can uphold their end of that. But I could easily, if you told me right now that 3 of the teams in this division made the playoffs, it would not shock me. If you tell me the Raiders, Chargers, and the Chiefs made the playoffs, it wouldn't shock me in the least. I
would be completely shocked. Because,
again. And it's at the expense of the loser of the AFC South.
But I look at these, I look at their schedule, and I look at the roster, and I go, okay, best case scenario, sure, all of these guys mature, they come together, Damon Arnett and Trayvon Mullen and, all these guys start playing really well on the defensive side of the ball. They could be a 10 to 11 win team. On the other hand, I can also see the path where everybody on here just disappoints. Everybody just looks like a dude other than Josh Jacobs and Darren Waller.
See, and I don't see that. I don't in any way.
Derek Carr can very well have a mediocre season. His weapons are unproven. I mean, that whole wide receiver group, a lot of upside, very high upside. But in all reality, I mean, if Henry Ruggs doesn't hit, then they're all just dudes to me.
There's 2 guys on this staff that I think you're under-evaluating.
Okay.
One of them's new, one of them's not.
Okay.
Rod Marinelli's the one that's not. One of the best defensive line coaches in the league. He's also 8,000 years old, but he's a great defensive line coach. Gus Bradley. That is the difference. To me, that is the difference of this team. Gus Bradley was a terrible head coach. Terrible. He's a great defensive coordinator. And I think he makes this defense better. He can gel a lot of these things together. And this is a team that's going to compete for a playoff spot. This is a team that I'm telling you right now, I have more money on the futures of the Las Vegas Raiders than any team in the NFL. Because I feel like people undervalue them going into this season.
Worst case scenario is a 5-win team.
I think worst case scenario it's a 7-win team. I think if everything goes to just shit in a handbasket, it's a 7-win team. I mean, and I think a lot of things would have to happen for that. I really do. All right, let's we'll go down the rabbit hole. We owe this to literally the 2 biggest fan bases we have on the show are the Chargers, or 3.
Yes.
Chargers, Raiders, Rams.
Yes.
So you know what? We owe as much time to the Raiders as we go to the Chargers.
Yep.
Be really honest here. Look at their schedule. Look at what happens after the bye week. And I understand you go into the bye week with 3 games against the Bears, Denver, and Philadelphia. 2 of those 3 are at home. You're winning all 3 of those games.
Yep.
So with what they have before that, I think they could be 4-3 going into the bye week. And then you go Giants, Chiefs, Bengals, Cowboys, Washington football team could be a win. Because you can shoot with them. Straight up, you can shoot out with them.
Sure.
Kansas City, Cleveland, I don't love that. And then you go Denver, Indianapolis, Los Angeles. That could be 3 wins too.
Indianapolis?
Carson Wentz could be in a fucking body cast by then.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess.
Projecting.
Yeah.
Because what's behind Carson Wentz? Jacob Eason? Yeah, I'm going to pass.
I look at it on the other side and go, if this team is not good and they're not gelling, and we will know it by the bye week, we will know what that stretch is going to be like. That's going to be Kansas City, Dallas, Washington football team, Kansas City again, the Browns, the Colts, and the Chargers. That's 7 losses after the bye week.
No, I don't see that in any way. I just don't. I don't. I think
you don't think those 7 teams are better than the Raiders?
The 7 after the bye week?
Yeah.
Kansas City twice. I don't.
Okay, so I guess it was 6 because Kansas City was on there twice.
Yeah, I think you're over-evaluating Dallas. Just remember how fucking bad that defense was.
Oh, I
can't keep saying this enough times.
But the offense is that good, and is
the Raiders.
Right, but
they're the same team. I think that's the. I'm glad you said Dallas, because that's the part of this that I can't for the life of me fucking understand. You believe so much in Dallas, and you believe so little in the Raiders. That makes no sense to me. They're the same fucking team.
No, Dallas is way more proven.
Where?
All of their players.
Where?
All of them. Okay, Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper is one of the most god-awful receivers on the road in NFL history.
I don't give a shit.
You should, because that's half of your games, and it's 9 of theirs this year.
Okay, he's better than anything the Raiders have.
Darren Waller's better than Amari Cooper, and it's not even debatable. That's not even debatable. And you know I'm fucking
I was
right.
talking about the wide receivers.
They're targets. At this point, Darren Waller is a wide receiver with a tight end demarcation next to his name.
Okay.
That is it.
All right, CeeDee Lamb, better than everybody. Everybody in that room.
I would say CeeDee Lamb is, I would agree on CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is the best receiver across the two teams.
Michael Gallup is better than every
I like
receiver
John Brown
they have.
better than Michael Gallup. I don't think it's all that close.
Oh, wow.
I don't think it's all that close. Michael Gallup's one of those guys that you're just drunk on, and I don't get it. I like the guy.
I don't get the John Brown thing.
He's been good on 4 teams. Michael Gallup, I mean, Gallup's fine. He's been in the league 3 years. He had one 1,100-yard year before CeeDee Lamb, had about 800 yards last year. In an offense that throws all the fucking time and doesn't have a tight end one. There's not one tight end on the team.
That's the one spot they can't compete.
No.
Darren Waller's better than anything that, you know.
That's the thing I can't understand. And you're talking about so proven. Amari Cooper's not so proven. That's your fantasy football. In terms of as a player in the NFL, Amari Cooper's not a top 20 wide receiver in the NFL, and I will fight you to the death over that because I could probably name 20 off the top of my head that I like better. He's an inconsistent road player.
Can you name one on the Raiders that you like better than him?
Receiver that I like better than Amari Cooper? Yeah. Darren Waller. I already did that. I've already been there, done that, got a T-shirt. I like Darren Waller better, and it's not even debatable. And now, in terms of you're asking me, who do I like? You're asking me to evaluate 3 guys that have been in the league for a combined 3 years. So, I mean, no. But Amari Cooper was a top 5 pick in the draft. All right, now let's play your fun game on defense. Name me one player. Name me one player that's not a linebacker or DeMarcus Lawrence that would start for the Raiders. One.
One player for the Dallas Cowboys.
Any player the Dallas Cowboys have on defense that would start for the Raiders. That's not one of the linebackers, and I think even one of those is debatable, or DeMarcus Lawrence. There's not one.
I can't put
I'll go ahead and I'll answer for you. There's not one. Cowboys are going to have to completely outscore teams. I actually think the Raiders can get after quarterbacks. Jason Trump said, you do know the Raiders sent Cooper to Dallas. That's a hell of a point. I almost said that a minute ago. I don't see how you can like one so much and not like the other at all. That makes no sense to me because they're the same team. Secret time, if you ask me right now if I had to take Ezekiel Elliott or Josh Jacobs, it's Josh Jacobs. I wouldn't think about it for more than 1/10 of a second. I mean, I can keep doing that.
Yeah.
The offensive line for Dallas has gotten old in a hurry. I cannot for the life of me understand how you like one and not the other.
The quarterback's a big reason.
I don't.
Don't even tell me.
I don't think Dak Prescott's that much better than Derek Carr.
Dak Prescott runs circles around Derek Carr.
Run, yeah. In a foot race, he would. In terms of who's the better. Okay, let's play a fun game.
Yeah.
Just because what you just said is fucking asinine.
Okay.
That Dak Prescott's so much better. Okay, let's play a fun game.
Okay.
Derek Carr's played 110 games in his life. Dak Prescott has played, if my computer will go. There we go. He's played 69. Go! There we go. Touchdown to interception ratio. Dak's 106, 106 touchdowns, 40 interceptions. Carr's 170 and 71. Percentage-wise, it's pretty damn close. Winning percentage. Carr's 47 and 63. Dak's 42 and 27. Now, let's play a fun game. Leading receiver on both teams. Weapons. Put Derek Carr in Dallas and put Dak Prescott in Vegas.
Okay.
What do you think happens? I think you're going to see the damn same exact numbers in reverse. The exact same.
Hot.
I do. I think you flip them and they're the same guy.
Okay. I will agree to disagree.
I think you're way too high on Dak Prescott. Way too high.
To me, he's clearly head and shoulders above Derek Carr.
I disagree with you.
Well,
hell, we did this. We ranked quarterbacks. And if I remember correctly, I think I had Dak Prescott at 10, and I had Derek Carr at 12. And if I remember correctly, you weren't far off of that.
I wasn't far off of that. We'll see.
I can't remember exactly where you ranked him, but I do remember you had Carr lower than me.
I had Dak Prescott at 6.
That's entirely too high. Name me the 4 quarterbacks behind Dak Prescott on your rankings.
This is Matthew Stafford, Lamar Jackson, Ryan Tannehill, Kyler Murray.
0 for 4. I have all 4 of them ahead of him.
And Derek Carr was 15.
I gotta find it. Doop.
That boy ain't right.
That was asked for in the comments. So. Yeah, I think you're out of your fucking mind, personally.
Okay.
Dak Prescott's had every advantage offensively. Derek Carr's had none. And statistically, they're damn near identical.
They're similar. Okay.
Oddly enough,
just don't see
the
them as
best
the same
receiver
team.
that Derek Carr's ever thrown to is probably the 3rd best receiver that Dak Prescott's ever thrown to. Same guy. Running back, he had Ezekiel Elliott in his prime, which yes, that's over. But yeah, I think you're out of your mind. I think you're completely out of your fucking mind.
Anyway, I think it's a very wide swath of best and worst case scenario for the Raiders. They could possibly be a playoff team, best case scenario, and worst case scenario, they're one of the worst teams in the league. And they're picking in the top 6 next year.
No shot of that.
No. Again, it's called worst case scenario.
Yeah,
not what we believe is going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think there's a worst case scenario where they're that bad.
Okay.
Because you're gonna have to explain to me how a team like let me just think of the ones off the top of my head. You're gonna have to explain to me how the Cincinnati Bengals, Atlanta Falcons, Philadelphia Eagles, Houston Texans, Detroit Lions. I'm forgetting one. Jacksonville Jaguars, Denver Broncos. You're going to have to explain to me how any of those teams are worse than them because they're not. Or how they're worse than any of those teams because they're not.